You know, I think hipsters are a little bit ridiculous, but I'll make an exception for the meta. Sometimes I think it's kinda cool to play champions before they're mainstream. Hey Summoners, and welcome back to another Pro Guides video. My name is Nathan Ng, and we're gonna be discussing the underrated picks of 10.5. Before we get into it, our question of the day is, what champion do you think is currently too underappreciated? By the way guys, I really want you guys to check out ProGuides.com. We're always working hard to bring you guys the best content that we can, so make sure to check it out because your pro streamers and pro players are gonna be on the website. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of the information that we put out for you. Between our website and our YouTube channel, you'll have everything you need to reach your 2020 rank goals. With that being said, let's jump right into the video. Speaking of jumping right into the video, the first champion we're gonna be talking about is Zac. Everyone's favorite hunk of flubber has bounced out of the jungle and spilled into the top lane. Zac's tankiness and base damage has always made him a decent brawler, but nothing you'd pick over another tank. With the introduction of Conqueror, however, Zac's finding some success. His Q is a great trading ability with his ability to knock his targets together, and his W can help him wave clear. His E is a slingshot and is one of the best engages / escapes in the game. And his ultimate buys him a little extra CC time on the clock as well as dispersing teamfights. What really makes him good now is that his passive synergy with Conquer. Every time Zac hits an enemy with an ability, a blob drops onto the ground, and if he picks it up, it heals him for a chunk of his health. So in a fight where Conqueror's healing is fully stacked, blobs are basically a nectar of life, and Zac is almost impossible to kill. Now blowing everybody away is Janna. Unfortunately, underrated pick number 2 in the top lane is Janna. I really don't want to encourage these enchanter top picks, but I would be doing you guys a disservice if I didn't. So Janna top. We thought the enchanter tops were gone, but they're not. Basically, Janna gets a lot of inherent movement speed with her W passive, and leveling her W also gives her some strong trading power. So you clear waves top with Q if you need to, harass with W and keep yourself alive with shields, and you use R to push away anyone that tries to kill you like you deserve. As with other enchanter tops, your goal isn't to win lane. It's to just clear a wave and roam and support your team with your overloaded utility. Clear a wave, roam, and support. Rinse and repeat until the other team starts DCing. I'm not sure which top laner at Riot irritated the balancing, but I'm willing to send apology flowers on their behalf. Next up is Ivern. To no one's surprise, Ivern is underrated again. If you remember our OP picks videos from a few days ago, we recommended Nunu as a strong pick. Well, due to the no-effort jungle clearing nature of their kits, Nunu and Ivern tend to go hand in hand when the meta shifts in their favor. They both excel in the jungle and objective control. The difference is that Ivern is a little bit more supportive than Nunu is. With the meta starting to show love to enchanters again, Ivern is growing in power. His Q is a long-range route that lets you and your allies engage on ganks. His W lets him grow bushes to obscure vision, and his E is a pretty hefty shield that explodes and slows. And his R summons Daisy, Blue Buff's overgrown cousin. Use Ivern to counter jungle your enemies and protect your allies. Plus, when Ivern takes a buff camp, it creates a copy of that buff that an ally can grab. Sharing is caring. Next up is everyone's favorite Happa, Shyvana. I truly don't understand how so many people are still sleeping on Shyvana. The half-dragon lady of the jungle specializes in taking dragons. That's literally all her passive is. It's just some tank stats doing more damage to dragons. And if she takes a dragon, she gets more tank stats. Is that like half cannibalism? Is that how it works? I don't know. And what's this about meta, kids? Dragon control. That's right, this meta is about dragon control. And Shyvana is remarkably capable of sneaking the first dragon or two before the enemy can even think about it. Right now, AP Shyvana is queen. Her E's fireball does a stupid amount of damage and it's actually kind of infuriating. And the more Dark Harvest stacks you acquire, the more likely it is to pop you, and the hitbox seems kind of ridiculous too. Especially in her dragon form, her E does a stupid amount of damage, but bigger. Beyond that, she has an auto attack augment on her Q, but that doesn't really have anything to do with the fireball, so who cares? And your ult is a leap into dragon form that lets you get closer to your target so you can use fireball. Complex stuff, but I have faith in your ability to puzzle it out. Bird is the word, baby. That's right, Anivia's back as our first underrated pick in the mid lane. Anivia is another one of those champions that brings out so much utility and damage to the table that she's very rarely an awful pick. It's just hard for her to find function in high damage metas. With things shifting back towards tankier comps and team fights, she's finding herself in a pretty good spot though, even if people don't know it yet. Anivia has some of the highest base stats in the game, and her wave clear and zone control is almost unmatched. Her Q does an insane amount of damage. Her W is great for zoning and playmaking and messing up your teammates, and her E does an insane amount of damage. Her W also will set up an ice field that gnaws away at their health bar if they try to get through it. Sure, you could approach Dragon, but you'll have to make it through a wall, a blizzard, and a few of the world's deadliest icicles to the dome to do it. If you make it through all that, you deserve the Dragon. I mean, you still won't get it because she'll just put her ult back on top of you and kill you, but you totally deserve it for the effort. Talking about Anivia was nice, but as per usual, Pyke is here to ruin my happiness, and yours as well. Who would have thought that when you take the support role, a role that already has issues being abused in other lanes, and then you intentionally make them an assassin, it'd be hard to rein in. Riot spent a good chunk of last season trying to kill Pyke's ability to solo lane, but guess what? Solo lane Pyke is as annoying to kill as my bad habits. I guess after they nerfed him, he went in and sat in a bush for a few seconds to heal up to 80% of the nerfs. Because he's still in mid, still wave clearing with Tiamat, and still roaming to other lanes with his W movement speed and E dash, and still executing enemies. I legitimately don't know why this champion design got signed off, but people mistakenly think it isn't a thing anymore. So abuse it until Riot notices it and nerfs it again, please. Kalista is the first of our underrated bot lane picks, and you don't need me to tell you that Kalista hasn't seen the sunlight of the meta in ages. After a few years of slowly trickling buffs into Kalista and the stars aligning on the right kind of meta for her, she's back, lurking in the shadows. Kalista is an ADC that shines in coordinated play, but more importantly, she needs drawn out fights and not fast ones. High damage and mobility metas are hard on Kalista, but all the tanks making the use of new Bomby Cinder have opened a new window for her. Her Q is a long-range spear throw. Her W is a sentinel that provides vision for her to keep her safe, and her E lets you rip out all the spears that she's stacked on you for a lot of burst damage. And her R lets her yoink an ally towards her without consent and weaponize them to be launched at the enemy. Use Kalista's ability to kite out enemies with her sustained focus build and wear them out gradually. She's got a high learning curve, but she's worth the practice. Just like Sivir's Boomerang, she's back in the meta as an underrated pick. Very few people find satisfaction in being a team play focused champion, especially not ADC players who are used to being the star of the show, which hasn't happened in the past couple of seasons. For the few ADCs who do like Sivir though, thank you for all that you do. Sivir has the best wave clear out of any ADC in the game, and her spell shield makes her an even harder target to gank. Even though her ultimate's team-wide movement speed makes her more of a utility ADC, her ricocheting auto attacks mean that she low-key scales into a crit bouncing teamfight monster. Sivir's widely underrated, but if your team needs an engage or wave control, she's the girl for the job. Especially since she can just delete a minion wave and move up to contest Dragon. She has lane priority on demand, and that's always valuable. Surprisingly, Taric is our #1 underrated pick for support. It's just surprising that he's not being used in some disgusting funnel comp to shove gold down Yi's throat. Taric is a tanky melee enchanter, so he's pretty well rounded. He dazzles against AD heavy team comps because his W, Bastion, lets him share some of his armor with whoever he links up to. AD comps aside, Taric's stun is an excellent peeling tool, and when you combine that and his healing with his W, he can act as a frontliner and backliner simultaneously. Taric's most iconic ability though is his ult, which makes his allies around him and his Bastion target invincible for a few seconds after a brief delay. This delay on his ult is what makes Taric hard to play as well, since mistiming your ult often results in being wasted on a pile of corpses because they were too low, or just wasted altogether because you popped it off too early. With the current meta starting to see some more drawn out fights though, getting the most influential Taric ults is a little bit easier than before, and your trigger finger doesn't have to be quite as precise. The perfect Taric ult is a truly outrageous ability to overcome. As we've said, enchanters are on the come up, which means that Lulu is on the rise. She's not quite as prominent as Nami and Janna right now, but she's always one of the best options for facilitating a hypercarry and foiling enemy plans. A few patches ago, her E got a buff to its cooldown, so she's a little bit stronger in lane now with her new ability to shield or poke more frequently. This choice between two uses is spread across the entirety of Lulu's kit actually. Her Q can be used for an extra bit of poke damage, or you can choose to prioritize its slow to peel for your carry. Lulu's W will polymorph an enemy into some kind of adorable critter depending on what skin you use, but using W on an ally will give them more movement speed and attack speed to help them dominate a fight. Finally, you can choose your ult on a frontliner to help you engage and make more impactful entries to every fight, or you can save it to keep your carry alive. Lulu is a flexible pick, and making the right choices will often be the difference between a win or a loss. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and make sure you check out our website ProGuides.com as well as our YouTube channel for more content such as this. Again, my name is Nathan Ng, and if you guys want to check out my Instagram at Nathan_ING, I'm not opposed. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the comment section down below and in my DMs. Peace. That was weird. That's not a cool thing to do. Bye guys. Silence makes me so uncomfortable. Can we cut? Are we done?